So this game is Dark Souls, and this is the item I chose because to me it represents my family and the things that I've been taught growing up. Because this is really the first thing I can remember ever doing with the other members of my family was committing myself to beating this game with my dad. And it introduced me to a lot of new concepts I'd never heard of, like nihilism and pessimism, because in this game you have to fight against really people trying to preserve the old way of life and the old gods that they were a part of, and you have to do what's called linking the flame to kind of reunite the old gods with the new world. And there were people that hated it and they wasted their life away. In the game it's called Becoming Hollow, and it introduced me to concepts like nihilism and kind of just feeling that there's nothing really in your life worth living. But it really taught me to persevere because the game is extremely hard, especially when it's your first first game in this kind of genre to play. But me and my dad, we set a goal and we wanted to complete it, and we did. It really reflected on some things I had learned in church and school about idol worship, though, because these old gods that you have to reunite, they're idols. They're worshipped like an idol, and their statues are just desecrated because the idols were never performing like they should. And it really made me think critically about different aspects of my religion. And it really made me think about how engineering ties into that, because I looked at the landscape in this place called Anne Orlando with these giant golden castles and these intricate elevators that don't resemble anything really in the real world. And I thought about how that place had the most direct contact with the gods according to the game. And there were areas like the New Londo ruins, which were purposefully placed underneath a floodgate by those gods, and they're just destroyed. There's giant pitfalls and things. The churches there are destroyed, and it made me think about how there's always been a connection between the progress that a civilization can make and its connectedness with the religion around it. And that really is my main goal. If I do get into honors college, I would love to kind of analyze that connection with specifically college students to see when they're at this age that their ideas are being challenged the most, they're being introduced to these new concepts and they're learning and their brain is developing, how that ties into these people who want to know more about how the world works scientifically, and these people who want to know how really supernatural kind of beings like a god could interact with that. And to me, that's what honors college would be all about, is understanding how other people interact with these concepts that I grew up with.